And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Welcome to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. As always, I am here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. to talk about anything and everything related to real estate. Today I have a very special show because I'm going to talk about something in my first two segments that I get asked a lot about, both as a real estate broker and as a mortgage broker. I get asked this question so much that it's kind of exhausting because I really don't, up until now, I really never had an avenue, at least a reliable avenue to refer someone. But my special guest today is an expert in this field. So I'd like to welcome Clark. How do you say your last name, Clark?
It's Russian. It's Ovruchesky.
Ovruchesky.
Yeah.
So Clark Ovruchesky is a credit repair attorney. So that's right. So if you have challenged credit, he's the guy you need to call. So let's learn a little bit about Clark. Clark Ovruchesky was born and raised in San Diego, so he's a San Diego native. After his family immigrated from Russia, Clark graduated from the University of California, San Diego with a bachelor's degree in political science. He then worked for a family law firm, which confirmed his desire to become an attorney. Clark ultimately decided to attend Cal Western School of Law and was awarded a faculty scholarship, which he maintained all 3 years. During law school, he became a student bar association representative for his class and served on the Moot Court Honors Board. So, Clark, tell me a little bit about what it takes to be a credit repair attorney.
Sure. Well, I mean, the general perception of credit repair is kind of different. A lot of people don't think that attorneys get involved in it. When people think credit repair, they're usually directed towards credit repair companies, which basically they either demand a lot of fees up front or they demand a lot of fees for work that they do or results that they achieve, whatever the extent of that may be. So they'll letter blast credit reporting agencies of inaccuracies reporting on someone's credit, hoping that the errors are fixed, but that's usually the extent that they can do. What a lot of consumers don't understand is that there is a federal statute, it's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and there's also a California statute that protects consumers that allows them to actually file lawsuits against these credit repair agencies and the creditors reporting the inaccurate information. So that really gives consumers a legal avenue to go against these credit bureaus and creditors, as opposed to just sending letters and hoping that does the trick. And what's great about the statutes, it's that they're fee shifting, which means in most circumstances attorneys don't charge anything. The attorneys that do it because they seek to recover their attorney's fees from the defense through the litigation. And a lot of the times the reporting is fixed, if not deleted off a person's credit report. The consumer gets some statutory damages in money, some actual damages if they were denied, extensions of credit like a home loan, car loan, even a simple credit card, if it was due to the reason of the inaccurate reporting, and the attorneys recovered their attorney's fees. So it's a win-win for everyone except for the creditors and the bureaus that are causing inaccurate information to report on someone's credit.
Well, you must face somewhat of an uphill battle because this industry, this credit repair industry, is stigmatized by all these mills that are claiming to be able to, clean everyone's credit up. And, I've heard horror story after horror story about, well, I hired this credit repair company to do this, and I hired this credit repair company to do that. All they did was take my money, and they didn't do anything. So, I mean, I guess, how do you differentiate? Now, I know you kind of went into it a little bit, but explain kind of, exactly what makes you so different than those credit repair companies?
Sure. The biggest difference is I don't charge anything to the clients up front or for the litigation expenses if there's a viable claim to go after these creditors and credit bureaus for. Attorneys can't make guarantees, just like credit repair companies can't make guarantees. Unfortunately, a lot of credit repair companies illegally charge fees up front when they're not supposed to. I don't charge anything for a consultation, even though I'm allowed to as an attorney. I don't charge anything for helping the consumer through the dispute process, even though I'm allowed to as an attorney. I know that in most circumstances, these bureaus and these creditors don't completely erase all the inaccurate information, so I know that there's a chance that I'm going to get paid down the line through the litigation, and that's the risk that I'm willing to take, because I understand that someone who is having credit reporting issues or debt collection issues, odds are they're not in the best financial state. So I try to do whatever I can to make sure I help them with their issue without charging them anything directly, and just hope that I get paid on the back end through the litigation.
Well, that's very interesting what you just said, because in my legal practice, which is very minimal these days, it probably comprises about 10% of what I do. I mainly only help people with distressed housing, but like you, I can't take upfront fees for what I do. So when I evaluate somebody's case to see if I can help them save their house or negotiate with a bank, I have to be very, very certain that I can do it. In other words, it can't just be possible. I have to have a high probability of success, or I'm not going to commit my time and resources into taking the case, because I don't get paid until the end, unless I win. And it sounds like that's kind of the situation you've got rolling. Is that how you would explain it?
Exactly. And there are attorneys out there that do this area of law. There are not many, but some of them do charge for consultations for drafting those initial dispute letters, because there's always a chance that a creditor or a bureau is going to fix the information. But it should say a lot the fact that the vast majority of my clients, they do have viable claims even after the disputes come back. So that shows you how prevalent these errors are just not getting fixed in the process, even if an attorney is helping a consumer through the dispute process. So it is a risk for everyone, but if I file a claim, then I have confidence in the claim, and it's usually going after multiple defendants, the credit bureaus and any creditors reporting inaccurately. So I try to reach the best possible result for the client, and it's a risk. Litigation is a risk, but that's just what we do as contingency attorneys in that situation.
Well, you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am Michael Gaddis at michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. My special guest today is Clark Ovruchesky. I said that right.
Perfect.
Of colawcalifornia.com. That's colawcalifornia.com. So, Clark, what I like what you're saying is that basically you're putting your money where your mouth is. You basically get a free consultation with you. You come in, you look at their situation, you see if there's anything in there that might have some teeth to it, and then if you agree to take their case, there's no money out of their pocket. Basically, you're taking it on yourself because you believe that at the end of the day, that there's probably a payday for you in the end of the day, but it doesn't come necessarily out of your client's pockets.
Exactly. It's specifically attorney's fees in the settlement, so I'm freely able to negotiate my attorney's fees from the defense, and in the clients, in most circumstances, they get that wiped off their credit, and they may even get some monetary damages as well, depending on how if there are any actual damages, like if they got denied extensions of credit because of the inaccuracies, or even statutory damages up to $1,000 in a lot of cases.
And I might add, you're an actual attorney. You're not just some mill that's running somewhere promising to clean stuff off by filing disputes on Experian or whatever trade line it might be. And you're an actual attorney that is willing to put his time and his resources on the line because you believe that something that you see is inaccurate and that you can do something for somebody. Isn't that right?
Exactly. And I mean, I think the recent statistic I saw is 50% of credit reports have something reporting inaccurately, and most consumers never check their credit reports. What they do is they look at their score, and no one ever actually digs through the trade lines the account's reporting, which they can do for free on annualcreditreport.com once per year from all three bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. They can pull up their credit reports, kind of dig through them, see if there's any inaccuracies, maybe delinquencies are reporting, maybe their file got mixed with someone, so maybe a bankruptcy is reporting on their credit, or maybe they've even been through a bankruptcy, but a bunch of accounts are still reporting an active balance or an amount past due, even though it should have been wiped away in the bankruptcy. So once I get all three of those credit reports, I know exactly how to dispute with each of the bureaus and specifically delineate the nature of the dispute for each account.
Well, as everyone knows, our lives have become hinged on a number. and that number is your credit score.
Definitely.
And it is so important. It is the gateway. It's the key to the gateway to getting a house, to getting a car, to getting credit, whatever it is. This number has become very, very important. And for a long time, we've been at the mercy of these reporting agencies, assuming that they're going to do what they're supposed to do correctly. And that's not always the case. I mean, I see it all the time in my world, helping people get loans. I see it all the time. First thing I do, I pull a credit report, I go through it with the person, and they're like, oh, I don't know what that's coming from. What's that? That's not right. I hear that all the time. Now, sometimes, the credit score's high enough where they're like, well, my credit score's high enough, but, that's not right, but okay, whatever. But I mean, in general, what I'm getting at is there are a lot of inaccuracies out there that someone like you can help somebody with that, right?
Definitely. And I mean, I think the last stat I heard on how many files they're responsible for, I think the credit bureaus input a couple billion pieces of information into all consumers in the nation every month. So with that amount of information going through, there's not a lot of vetting that goes through. Usually they just parrot whatever the creditors tell them, and if the creditors are reporting information that's inaccurate, then that's an issue that extends liability to the bureaus as well, because they have a duty, even though they're so big and they are responsible for so much reporting. When a lot of creditors are subscribing to your services and you're making a lot of money, you have to make sure that you have reasonable procedures in place to combat inaccurate reporting. You can't just parrot what a creditor says and take that as accurate. That's not always the case.
Well, for all of you out there that are listening that are wondering, well, what type of things can I dispute? Well, we're going to ask Clark Ovruchesky after the break exactly what it takes for him to take a case. You're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer.